Namaskar and welcome to Pradipta's Musings. Today I will discuss a bit about the three types of food: Satvik food, Rajasic food and Tamasic food as mentioned in the holy scripture SrimadBhagvadGeeta. I am referring to the SrimadBhagvadGeeta with the commentary of Adi Shankaracharya as translated by Swami Gambhiranandaji of Ramakrishna order. Food is of three kinds according to Srimad Bhagavad Geeta: Satvik, Rajasic and Tamasic. Satvik food is described in the Srimad Bhagavad Geeta in this shloka as Ayuhu Sattva Balarogya Sukha Priti Vivardhanaha Rasyaha Snigdhaha Sthira Hridya Ahara Satvika Priyaha, which means foods that augment life, firmness of mind, strength, health, happiness and delight, and which are succulent, oleaginous, substantial and agreeable, are dear to one endowed with sattva. Now, Rajasic food is described as Katvamla Lavana Tyushna Tikshna Ruksha Vidahinah Ahara Rajasa Seshta Dukkha Shokamaya Pradaha, which means foods that are bitter, sour, salty, very hot, pungent, dry and burning, and which produce pain, sorrow and disease, are dear to one having rajas. Now, Tamasic food is described in this shloka: Yatayamam gatarasam puti paryushitam cha yat uchchistamapi cha medhyam bhojanam namasa priyam. Food which is not properly cooked, lacking in essence, putrid and stale, and even oat and that which is unfit for sacrifice is dear to one possessed of tamas. So, these are the three types of food as described in the Bhagavad Geeta. Now, all vegetarian food are classified as Satvika food. According to common notion prevalent amongst spiritual aspirants, it's believed that vegetarianism promotes ahimsa, that is non-violence, and this is the only Satvika type of food. Rajasic food is such type of food which promotes agitation and action. Satvik food is cooling and induces peace. Rajasic food is meant for agitation and action, and Tamasic food induces drudgery and inertia. So, any stale food, rotten food, these are all classified as Tamasic food. And Rajasic food is oily, spicy, bitter, pungent, very hot, very dry. These are all Rajasic food. It's said that non-vegetarian food falls under the category of either Rajasic or Tamasic food. Fish, meat, eggs, these are all classified as Rajasic as well as Tamasic food. But originally Tamasic food means stale and rotten food, which is unfit for eating. Undercooked, rotten, stale, all these types of food which are unfit for eating and which is harmful for health is classified as Tamasic food. But Rajasic food may not always be harmful for health. It may serve the purpose of nourishment of some people according to their body constitution and also according to the amount of action and activity they are doing. Like a tiger, it needs to be a carnivore. It needs flesh, it needs non-vegetarian food in order to maintain its strength and agility and its way of living. Similarly, some other herbivore like a deer or an elephant or any other herbivorous animal, it needs vegetarian food only according to its constitution. So this is all according to the law of nature. But such animals are lower beings in terms of spiritual awareness. Only human beings can attain spiritual awareness. And so food habits cannot restrict the spiritual development of human beings. As for human beings, tamasic food should be avoided because it is not conducive for health and it hampers spiritual growth. If health suffers, one cannot struggle on spiritual path. One cannot do sadhana with ill health. So tamasic food should be completely avoided by spiritual aspirants. But Rajasic food may serve the purpose of nourishment of some people. So if they feel that this type of food can serve the purpose of maintenance and nourishment of their body, and if it is an acquired or inherited food habit by such people, then they can continue with that food habit. Rajasic food habit may not harm them much because spirituality is something which is beyond the physical plane. A spiritual aspirant should not put much importance on food habit and should not have any rigidity or prejudice or bias about food habits. Food is a very minor and insignificant issue for an aspirant on spiritual path. Food is meant only for living. We do not live to eat, we eat to live. So whatever food is available at the moment and whatever food habit someone has acquired or inherited, one can continue with that even while being on a spiritual path. Satvika food is no doubt very much conducive for spiritual growth because it induces lots of peace and calmness, no doubt. But Satvika food should be also of that kind which does not put much importance on the rigidity to follow some strict, steadfast rules in eating. And Satvik food should be very simple. It should not comprise of lots of sweet or lots of oil and ghee and lots of delicacies in the name of vegetarianism. Luxury in food should be avoided. If we go on eating junk food and like some people, they have the habit of eating sabudana or sago and potato chips and all other delicacies which are said to be prescribed food during fasting, then fasting has no value. Even if it is considered satvika, then also the main purpose of satvik food is lost when one indulges in eating delicacies in the name of having satvik food during a fast or any religious ritual. We offer bhoga or naivedyam comprising of various delicacies according to our own choices to our deities and partake of that prasada thinking that it is vegetarian and it is Satvika. No, we are wrong. Even Satvik food has to be very simple, and it should not comprise of much sweetness or much complicacy or lots of oiliness, or it should not be like some extravagant food or a great vegetarian platter, very eye-catching and very titillating for the taste buds. If we offer such types of food offerings to our deity and partake it as prasad, then the main purpose of having Satvika food is lost. So, food can be of either Satvik nature or Rajasic nature, and our spiritual growth is not hampered by our food habit. A sadhaka can follow any food habit provided that type of food habit is not harming his or her health, and much importance should not be laid on taste buds. One should not eat for taste. Now I will read out an excerpt from the book My Blessed Days with Holy Mother by Swami Ishanananda, who was a disciple son of Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi. This excerpt will show how the Holy Mother had no bias or prejudice or rigidity about food habits, and how she instructed her children, her disciples and devotees to eat anything which will nourish their bodies and which are suitable according to their constitutions. I was not eating fish for the past 7-8 months, as I would feel nauseated. During the rainy season at Jairambati, I would always have some stomach problems. Mother said, from tomorrow onwards you start taking fish in small quantities, else this stomach problem won't go away and you will gradually become weak. In this monsoon season, it would take a long time for the stomach problem to be cured. I said, I am afraid to take fish, lest it should again induce vomiting. Mother said, all right, tomorrow I shall cook a smaller variety of fish for you. Try it, you won't vomit. The next day onwards, Mother would herself cook some fish and serve it hot on our plates and feed us, sitting beside. In this way, in a few days, I didn't have any trouble taking fish, and my health too improved gradually. So, this wonderful reminiscence of Swami Ishanananda, disciple son of the Holy Mother, shows how the Holy Mother was free from all prejudices, all rigidity, all biases. In spite of herself being a vegetarian those days, she cooked fish for her devotee children, and she even pestered them to eat fish so that they can have good health. One should inculcate such food habit which suits one's constitution. There should not be any rigidity about food habit on spiritual path. Whatever food suits our constitution, whatever food is good for our health, we can take that type of food, provided the food is not tamasic or harmful or any way it hampers us in our health conditions, and thus it becomes an obstacle on our spiritual path. So whether vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food, we can have any type of food which we have inculcated as a habit, either inherited or acquired taste. For the taste should not be a very important matter in food habit. One should eat only for maintenance and nourishment of the body, if someone is sincere on spiritual path. यथा अग्नेर्दाहिका शक्ति रामकृष्णे स्थिता ह्या सर्वविद्या स्वरूपां तां शारदां प्रणमाम्यहम्. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम तत्सत. श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.